as we transition after the Thanksgiving holiday and we put the markets back online, it's going to feel like quite a tricky day here as we go into a thinly traded weekend after today's trading session. So it's not going to be the same as coming back in on Monday. I want to be more toned down. I want to be in a more direct fashion today, but I don't want to be loud and in your face. I want to keep this in tone because I'm really nervous about what I'm seeing this morning. I know I put in the title, we take aim at $3, but right now it seems like a liquidity zone because we can't get over that $2.24 mark with any kind of feasibility. It seems like we're probably, I mean, we'll see if we hold 222 and if we have to level down here and retest that 210, 206 or even worse. But we need to get some kind of surge in with this. It's nice to see quant. We talked about it over the weekend, how as long as it held the $82 mark, we should get a nice little surge. That has done exactly that. So that gives me a little confidence that XRP is going to follow suit. We're going to have a little bit of a small consolidation today, and then hopefully we'll see something like this across the board. Quant definitely seems like it's leading the charge here this morning. We expected this move to happen. We talked about it yesterday. We talked about the areas to watch. So I'm very confident in what I'm seeing right there. Now, how far does it go? Nobody knows. Weekly's finally starting to push back up. If this continues in rhythm, we should come up to about 115 and retest the 200-day. But first, we got to get through a few areas. At some point, we're going to have to back test that 93.58 more than likely. So we should have about a $4 drop here and see what happens. But as far as the market goes, you have to be very hesitant here because in gold, silver, it's shooting up. We talked about it earlier in the week. Very bullish setup right now. Up $37 back to about $4,200. We've got Barrett Gold up 1% to 41.39, but that doesn't even tell the story. B2 Gold's up 3.36% to $4.62. You got silver up better than 4% on the day at $55.50 plus. You've got Pan America Silver up $3.19 per share, up 7.49%, up over $45.78. Unbelievable. Hecla Mining up 5.45% or 87 cents up to $16.80. We're ripping it right now in the miners. First Majestic up 11.9%, up $1.61 per share to $15.11. We've got Fortuna up 3.79% or 37 cents. Finally cracking that $10 mark to $10.13. We've got Silvercorp Mining up 8.33%. Just bought this back at $5.95-ish just about a week and a half ago, and now it's up to $7.80. And our biggest stellar point was buying back Dolly Varden at $3.52 about a week and a half ago, and now it's at $4.46, up 14.2%. We talked about it a couple days ago, how it looked like a big surge was coming, and here it is. We'll see exactly how this shakes out. We'll see exactly how this plays out. But sometimes we have to be a little hesitant when we see gold, silver, sound money turning in, especially on a Friday. It could mean that we get consolidation in crypto. Right now, we've got some signs that we can push up, like quant being up 16%, but that definitely took about a day or two as it's a little bit out of pace with the market. I believe it's a little bit ahead. So that's very interesting. So we look at quant for guidance. We look at a couple other things. I know Epic was up this morning about 10%, up 7.2. Proton's taken the turn down about 4.1%, but Proton, the problem is in the monthly time frame where a lot of things are getting towards oversold, this is very overbought still. And because there's no earnings or anything like that, it can be an issue. So we've got to hold this uptrend. We got to form this pattern. If we come below this 00325, we'll end up down at 248. But that, I digress. I don't know how much time I'm going to have in this live because it's just me home with my son. Julie's out doing some shopping with Michaela for Black Friday because she goes back to school tomorrow. We're supposed to get like 3 to 6 inches of snow down here tomorrow minimum. And then up in Kalamazoo where she's going to school because she's in the honors program at Western Michigan. They're gonna get like 8 to 10 inches possibly, so she's gonna go back home to Kalamazoo tomorrow morning before the snow starts in the afternoon. Although it's gonna be very interesting because tomorrow for the Michigan-Ohio State game in Ann Arbor, we're supposed to get some decent snow out there. I mean, that benefits Michigan, if I must say, because Ohio State can throw the ball like nobody's business. So we'll see if that helps us or not. I see my friend is in here as well. Where's he at? I'm going to get through some of the comments real quick, and then I'm going to get into the intro, and then we're going to get into XRP. I try to do a little around the horn kind of thing, but like I said, I started out saying I'm a little nervous about the setup right now. See if we can hold this back test, or if we need to do some further consolidation. It never sits right with me when gold, silver, and commodities, mining stocks are soaring. Crypto comes out the gate hot, but without that volume portfolio. So I'm looking at this very carefully. Maybe for a dump down on XRP first to like 210, 212, 206, maybe who knows. So we'll see how this plays out. Dan, welcome in along with Michael. Thank you both for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. 1970 legend, my fellow Buckeye down in South, well, I'm not a Buckeye, but my fellow Big Ten fan down in Columbus. Good luck tomorrow in the game as our balls tighten up, especially if you're a Michigan or Ohio State fan. It's our favorite and least favorite time of the year. If you win, it's glorious. If you lose, well, we all know the feeling. Too much. Especially me, I'm almost 42 now. I've seen more wins than losses in my life. 90s was dominated by Michigan. 2000 to about 2017 was dominated by Ohio State. And then 2019 on, well, 2020, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, obviously Michigan won. But we'll see how that plays out. But I hope you're doing well, 1970 legend. I appreciate you being a very trusted mod in here and allowing everybody to, give good guidance, and also being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. There's also links in the video description below and our pinned comments of this very live. TOOBIT if you want to join our copy trade for in the future, if we have to rebuy, sell out, buy back in, add to it, add something different. And there's also very cheap on leverage and spot, lowest fees you'll find along that line. There's BITUNIX for Proton. There's a couple other things. They have spot IOTA, but I prefer WEEX for spot IOTA. I just do. So there's links for all those exchanges that I use, WEEX, BITUNIX, and TOOBIT in this live. And then if you go to my homepage, there's for KRAKEN, which is a tier 1 exchange. If you go to the YouTube homepage, you can find different info with the exact same links, but I try to keep it transparent here. So you just click on the links. You got TOOBIT, WEEX, then you got BITUNIX there we just talked about. Some restrictions in the USA. Venmo, PayPal if you want to send a outside of YouTube Super Chat or joining Tom's Army. Facebook, I highly encourage you to join. And then KRAKEN's on the bottom. Facebook just has more information. So good morning. 11:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, November 28th, 2025. Also known as Liquidity Hunting Friday in cryptocurrency with Black Friday. It's some kind of significance that we do deal with from time to time. So I would not be surprised if we have some kind of dump down. If you're watching this, I'm proud of you because this was not pushed around. I didn't get an alert on this. I've been getting messages, even in the Telegram, saying they didn't get alerts. That's why I share the link in the Telegram, because YouTube doesn't share it. So, try to find a way to get the information. I'm proud to see we finally went over 47,400 subscribers last night or early this morning. It's been stuck in that range for about 2 months, between 47.1 and 47.2. So it was good to see almost 100 people join yesterday alone. But let's get into XRP. I don't know if I did the intro. I can't remember. Yeah, I think I did. I don't know. I can't remember. Joseph, welcome in. Mr. Euler, thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XP Predictor, along with Frankie Fresh, Big Dog, and Crypto Cooter. Thanks for being a very trusted mod in here in the Telegram, my friend. And Joseph, thanks for gifting a sub. Very, very generous. And the gifted sub goes to Joseph Euler, from Joseph Euler to A Balance. A Balance, congratulations on that gifted sub. And thank you so much for the generosity, Mr. Euler. That is unbelievably generous. Devin, welcome in, and thanks for being a very trusted mod in here in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. Yeah, Casper is definitely something we need to watch, especially with some of this news. I don't know, because it's at like 0.005 and some change. I don't know where the exact spot's going to be. I'm going to definitely put this on my list, though. I was actually looking at it yesterday. I filled out a, look, there's a quant coming down a few bucks already. We'll see if it holds that area. But I was looking at CSPR's chart yesterday. I was actually looking at Casper. Just got to remember which chart. It might have been. No, it wasn't on that one. Was it on Bitstamp? I don't remember. I got to redraw this out, but I was definitely looking at this. But it wasn't this chart. I don't remember which one it was. Shoot. I had it all nice and drawn. Maybe it was... Nah, I'm going to have to redo it. Damn it. That's fine. We can redo this together. I got no problem redoing this together. No problem at all. Okay, so let's draw this out a little bit. Because I think we have a... If we're looking at this and we want to come all the way back, we're going to have to layer this out. So if you're looking at this, Casper, very dangerous. Very stuck in the mud right now. Which means if you don't find an appropriate liquidation level, you're going to get burned. I mean, when I say burned, you could see today to tomorrow 40% drop if you don't buy it in the right spot. Because you broke down, remember this, you broke down out of that. And it's not just there, that's not the pattern, that's the outstretched resistance, but you broke down out of something like this. And like, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but until it retakes it, you got to honor it. You got to honor this. How much farther can we go? That's the question. That's the question on Casper. Oh, I did half of the intro, so good morning. 11:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, November 28th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Some of you are like, man, it's weird he's talking low, but that's just a new thing I've been doing. Trying to talk low, confident, in the moment, so we're not rattled, so we're all on this on the same page. The Cannabis Podcast, welcome and thanks for being in Time Zone for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. Garbanzo, good morning and thanks for being in Time Zone 3+ months with the XRP Meter. Yes, I'm used to not getting my fair share of likes, Garbanzo. Half of you have hit the like button this morning. At least it's better than 35. It's up to 48. But yeah, that's a common theme. It's hard to hit that like button. It takes a lot of strength. Vado Damas, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So Bad. Totally, my friends. This quick question for later when you have the time. Thinking of adding an Axelar to my 10,000 coin bags. Any thoughts on the product? I love it. I love it. I like Axelar. For the fact that it's got very low token supply in comparison to most of the things we deal with. The fact that it has some of the nice spots from Ripple, paying attention to them. So yeah, I like Axelar, but it's all about price point. All of my leverage that I had open after the moves, I've closed. The quant trade, when it hit 17%, I closed because I want to see how the market reacts. It's not because I don't have faith in the market. It's just I had movement that I wanted to take. And we'll get back into that chart, but I had movement I wanted to take, so be aware. Like, I talked to everybody about this play when it came down to 62. Talked about this initial move up. I'm not looking at the weekly. I'm looking at the daily. So I was playing through the daily. Now, if it holds back here at 93, I guess I could buy back. But this was just a small play for me, and it just happened to work out. I talked about it yesterday. A couple 100% move that it ended up turning into. But is it going to continue on? Very well could. Very well could. It holds that 200-day. But I need to flip capital somewhere else if this does play the way I hope. And it's not in a leverage trade. It'd be more in a spot trade. So that was there for a momentary opportunity. I'm glad it panned out. I'm glad a few of them panned out, like VeChain had an initial move. So yeah, those are closed out now because I want to observe. Everything's closed out that was leverage. I still think VeChain, though, I'm going to reconsider possibly in a minute. If we get this consolidation, something tells me in my gut that we could get a sneaky one this morning. So I don't want to be in any leverage. Even if they go up, I'm fine with. I got plenty of spot. But I'm not looking to be in a highly volatile moment in leverage because then it's just too much of a thinking game. So those are closed. I'm not interested in them. Not at this point. We'll see how Bitcoin reacts. But the fact it came up into our higher boundaries looks like it's reversal time. Got rejected perfectly right here if it doesn't hold on. So you would think some kind of consolidation this morning. Even if we want to fill out like this left shoulder here, we'd have to come down and retest 88.4 as support more than likely. But we'll see. If we can get some kind of real volume coming in this morning, we could have a nice little surge. Now, if you look at XRP, the best way to look at this, we bounced off of $1.95. We're stuck in between this, what I call a megaphone pattern. So this would be the macro look within a micro environment. But now if you want to break it down to the micro and then the micro within the micro, that's the way you got to do these patterns. So we bounce off of here. We're still working on the next resistance at $2.42, assuming we can hold the 200-day and the 4-hourly, which should be around 230 right now. Should be around 230. Ooh, it's down a little bit from the last time we looked. 228.3. So right now we're looking to hold. So I would expect this to come right back down and try to back test that 20-day maybe in the daily. See if we can bounce between the daily 20 EMA, which is right down at 220, and then the 4-hour time frame resistance, which is the 200 EMA, which is at 228. That daily is a little scary being so overbought now. 4-hourly is moving up nicely, so there's room. If we do the same thing quant did, we should be coming to 242. I'm just looking for that validation on a back test. Where would this be? Let's look in the short time frame. Yeah, see, this is already doing a small reversal. Let's see if we can hold the 20-day here. This would be a real stepping stone. If we can hold 222 and bounce out, this would be the way. But we've got to hold this. But it looks like we could be setting up a quant style pump. So it's not that I'm nervous. I'm nervous about people's entries. Like this morning, maybe coming in and seeing 227 going long and a leverage. That makes me nervous. I'd rather you be around 214 on that leverage trade if you were able to get in there, because then you can hold the support at the bottom. And it's very important. We talked about this when it was back testing this area. It's just a very important moment here. We hold this area, we're golden. Let's just say we come back down, and let's just say that would be around $2.11, $2.10. So then you would just slightly switch that. But for now, it's bouncing out of there. So we have to hold, you know, for this movement. We've created a micro consolidation, which we have technically, if you want to look at it that way, we've technically from wick to wick, and I love looking at this with the evidence with my audience, technically from a wick to wick standpoint, I mean, you can still say you're locked in a channel now. Think about it. You got this resistance from this pattern, the underneath support, right at about $2.12 or 14 that it bounced off of. Now you've stuck in this channel. You created a channel, resistance, support, and you can look at even more micro. See, now we've broken it down into another fractional movement, which some people don't like this. I love it, because now we know if we get over that 222, we've got some micro movement that is built in. We can look at the built-in micro movement if this holds, and that's a perfect entry if it can hold that over the top, because then you're going to be riding it up to somewhere around, oh, perfect. That's right around that 200 EMA in the daily. That would be a nice push if it did that. We have to hold this, though. A rejection brings you down in one of two ways. Sure, you could come down to 214 again. You could hold 218 here. But if you come below that, I would think 206 would be brought back into the picture. And then if you lose that, that's the bearish spot. If you lose 206, in my opinion, I know you can go 208, but 206, once that loses, then you start talking about that $1.98 zone, and then you stretch out to $1.77 to $1.82. Assuming $1.89 is lost, you can't skip that area. But it just, and I know 206 is a significant number, but right now, we want to stay over this short-term breakout. So, I mean, even if we don't come down to 206 and we got rejected here, we'll see how this pans out. But you would want to hold at worst at 211 so you don't fall below there. So, I mean, we've got some optics here this morning. I didn't come on here saying we're about to pump. I came on here and said I'm nervous. Did I not? First things I said was I'm nervous. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. First thing I said about quant when it was at 98 is it should pull back to 93.50 real quick, just to see how we react. And then if we can hold that, we could be okay here. It's just, sometimes when you get into these after holiday breaks, this is going to be a big moment here. How do we react at that 93.83? This is a big moment for not just quant, but for the rest of the ISO tokens. Remember, the ISO runs off of quant. Without the quant network, you don't have XRP, you don't have IOTA, or you don't have the ISO compliant tokens, or you just don't even have the ISO setup. The whole framework is set up through quant. Not a lot of people know that, but literally, if there was a token that was going to go thousands and thousands of dollars in the ISO, it would be quant, not XRP. Supply's too big. That's just my humble opinion. Mrs. G. Stott, welcome in, love, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. I'm so blessed to have you in here, Mrs. Stott. What a huge part of the show you are. Tom, how's Bitcoin looking? Choppy. Choppy at best. Honestly, not so great. Volume-wise, I think that was a fake out possibly to the top side. But we'll see. I don't know. It's still an engulfing candle in the daily. The volume's not what I would like to see for that kind of a push. 4-hourly was definitely a nice small candle, but it looks like a reversal could be taking place. We're going to have to come back down, in my opinion, near that 88, 89,000, or I guess we could say 90,000 in the 4-hourly. But we're going to have to go back into that area, I think. I think to validate this move, we're going to have to go back into there. So that's just something we're going to have to do. It's painful, obviously. It's a very painful start to the morning. Just because it went up so quick. I would have rather done without that little surge to trap some people this morning. Like having XRP go up to 227 that quick or whatever it was in that quick surge. Doesn't do anybody any good. In my opinion. I know it's fun to see it, but it went up to real quick, $2.2753. Think about everybody this morning. USA's waking up to go to work, starting a new week. They go to take their shower. All of a sudden, they see XRP go from 218 to 227. Like, oh my God, I haven't even been able to shave yet. Look at this. We're going to have a good day. They buy XRP. They get in the car to go to work. After taking their shower, they're driving. A couple hours later, like, all right, I bought it at 227. Not bad. They come back and they look at their portfolio and they're like, wait a minute, 221. Now I'm down 2.7%. That's from a spot position. Think about the ones who bought 10X this morning thinking we're golden, we're breaking up. Not realizing you're not supposed to do that until you get over the 200 day and start holding it. And now they're sitting down on 10X, down 27% on their drive to work. God forbid you're on a 20X and you're down 54% in a matter of an hour, or a 30X and you legitimately got whitewashed at 35. So feeling nervous as well, Tom. We're going into a weekend XRP escrow dump. That's the big news. On the first, we have the 1 billion token removal. So I don't think this is necessarily starting out the way people think it is. I think it was a good time to close leverage and let this shake out here after we had that nice little surge this morning. I came on here and said exactly what I closed out when things were higher, because I don't want anybody to sit in something. But now we have to look at Axelar. If you were going to buy Axelar, not at this exact moment. Make sure it holds this, because there is, there is the possibility here, and this isn't just for Axelar. This is for across the board. I'm going to go have to check on my son. Julie's not here right now, so it's just me and him. So I just want to make sure he's doing okay. And then we'll finish this. This looks like a small rising wedge in my opinion. And if that's what the markets are doing, these rising wedges, if that's what this is, I don't know. But it's starting to look to me a little wedgy-ish. So if that's a rising wedge with no follow-through volume, we're coming back down sub 10 cents in a very quick fashion. Kayla. Okay, so now that we covered some of that stuff, SHX, yeah, I've seen some comments. We'll get back into XR in just a sec. SHX is going to have a retracement, guys. It surged 80-something% from when we rebought it. So there's no doubt that this has to happen. We bought it at 0078. So I would say that if this market's correcting, I mean, you could see 106. You could see right here at the 200-day retesting the 20 cross and the 200 at 11,855 on that golden cross. We also had the 20 cross to 100, and we're about to get the 20 cross to 200, which you got the validation when the 20 cross to 100, and then you can get confirmation, or when the 50 cross to 100 is your validation. Confirmations when the 50 crosses the 200 and you successfully hold the back test. This is super good looking right now. And like I said, as a community, I put out a buy signal. Not when it first went on Kraken and some of these other exchanges, but after we had to dump down. And we got into here, we literally talked about it 0079. Well, 78 you could have bought it, but I was at like 787 or 789 I shared. So we'll just do it from 792. Even right now it's up 58%. At the top we had a quick 90% move roughly. So a 50% retracement should put it somewhere back within the 35 to 45% movement, which should put it somewhere around there. So that's what I'd be looking at. But I think it was a great opportunity there with SHX. I love Stronghold. I'm very honored to own it. Lenia's down 3%, so it continues to go sluggish here after that push up. And it did not break over that 1066, which means if this reversed down now, which it's nice to see it dumping out. Daily time frames overbought though. Weekly time frames not able to be measured yet as a metric because it just came out a couple months ago. This is looking like we got a topping reversal. And if that is a rejection here, we'll probably come down. And then we'll probably, assuming it does it properly, maybe we'll straddle down here, back test, and then if it, but then again, if this breaks down, we're going probably back here. If we had a market-wide breakdown, but I don't know if that's what's happening right now. But we definitely need to get over 105. Got a rejection there. And a little bit of a channel to the top side, which you guys know, like little rising channels on price appreciation is not necessarily what you want to see. And if that's what's starting it, although these could be rising, like this is the thing, these could, this gets dangerous if that's the case across the board. I don't know, man. Something's weird about this. I feel like if they were going to break out, they should have broke out where the price action was. But then again, I mean, quant's giving us a little bit of a directive here. XRP came back down and is testing that area of breakout. So, I mean, this is all eyes here. I was nervous for the pull down, but now let's see if we can hold after the pull down. From 227, almost 28, I was nervous. It's just, it went up too fast. Now if we can get this back test and push out, we'll see. Daily time frame, some are saying looks like a bull flag. Let's go to an empty chart. I can delete what's ever on here. That's that over the top resistance we have to break. Let's see. So crazy how this just played out so perfectly. When I start looking at that, it's still the same. It still looks like a broadening wedge or a megaphone pattern. But if you go wedgy, if you're doing it, I mean, you could say it's a megaphone as well. Some will call it a wedge, rising wedge, or just a broadening wedge. Which I don't disagree with any of these any of these specifications of the chart. Silver futures trading halted overnight because of data cooling issue. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Garbanzo, please get your work done, and then we'll talk soon, my friend. I really appreciate it. Tin Bender Bear, thanks for being in town for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Mr. Stott, I appreciate you so much. I'm pretty sure that's you. Hate how they changed all the names, but guess what? The dominance chart, USDT dominance just had a nice run, turning back now. Ooh, good observation. Definitely something we should look at this morning. Great observation, Mr. Stott. Let's see, USDT dominance is at 6% right now. I'm looking for it to finish this movement. So I'm looking for almost 8% if it comes up here in real time. Now, if we lose 5.5 would be a great sign. But where it's at right now, weekly could be engulfing, although it could be topping. But if it does play out that, the inverse pattern, it should come up to like 7.95-ish%. If that happens, that's not a good sign. But then again, it's so overbought, it might not happen. So we'll see what happens. Those miners are fucking ripping it. My God, look how high up we are now. You guys remember when we were buying these? Like Hecla was at $4.20-ish. First Majestic was around the same area. Fortuna was under that and the $3 levels, and then early 4s. Silver Corp was under 6, around 5, high 4s. Dolly Varden was at the low 3s. Pan America was at like 16, 17. It's over 45. B2 Gold was at $2.30, and then we bought it up obviously on the way too. And now it's at 463. Barrett was at 14 when we first started buying in January. Now it's at 41. This is what dreams are made of, and nobody talks about this sector. Remember, everybody said it topped out? Interesting. Not a lot of people pay, like I've already lost 17 people. We had 109 people watching. I started talking about the miners. It's down to 92 that quick. That was quick. Is it really that boring to everybody, the miners? I'm stunned. I'm not stunned, but it's just, it's one of those things, man. Like, I don't know why so many people hate the miners, but they really, with a vengeance, do. There's not many things that I hate retail, or that I see retail hate more than when I talk about gold, silver, and miners. It's like the crypto traders honestly believe that it's either you have gold or Bitcoin, or metals or crypto. It's not. One's a store of value and one's a speculative asset that can make you extraordinary amounts of money but can lose you it even faster. It's true. It's not easy to stay ahead of these markets. But I think we do one hell of a job here. I really do. And I always believe that the ones who stick around and the ones that are here today in the rough patch, you're going to end up succeeding just throughout this entire thing. It's an unbelievable thing that's going on here. Now, if we're looking to see if we can hold this back test. I don't know if we're going to. It looks a little choppy at best, especially with all that money going into risk off. That means risk on could have an issue. So it's no surprise Bitcoin dropped, from 93K back down. But it also isn't a surprise because I feel like we need to back test that 90K area possibly to see how we react there. So it's a very interesting time. Wouldn't you agree we're in a very interesting time here? Maybe the trickiest of all times. It's been a while since we've been in this area, so finishing doing something. Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. I hope everybody got to spend time where they were needed most. I hope it was safe, productive. And I wanted to, and that's me, my Sheena and You channel. I wanted to give 5 subs to the members as a happy Thanksgiving and a thank you for watching in these stressful times. I apologize for showing the commodities because 20% of the audience left, but it is what it is. So, congratulations, Rui, R-U-I, Jerry, Pratham on getting your 1 month emoji badges of me being abducted by aliens. Manajim, congratulations on being back in Tom's Army now for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. And Prana, welcome back for your 2nd month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. I really appreciate that. It's amazing. Thank you all so much. Peregrine, that's shoot, very long time viewer. I changed the name. I'm having a brain fart, but I'm so glad to see you in here. I really am, my friend. I know you like the miners too. Vado Damas loves the miners. Mo, welcome in, my friend Mosley here. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year, or over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. Good afternoon, my brother. Dirty Train, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Could you look at the macro of XDC? You better believe I can. On Wednesday last week, we bought our $250 worth on our Winning Wednesdays. I'll be doing it every week until we get to over 10 cents. The only way that I would sell out XDC at this point and rebuy is if XDC were to lose, because we bought it back down here. If it were to lose this pattern consolidation, then I would probably sell it if it showed signs that it could cut in half. But that's a very big if. Weekly's way oversold. Monthly's pushing down, which gives it plenty of opportunity. Daily needs to push back down. See, this is where we got tricky stuff now. Everything came right up to its resistance, which is kind of hard to see. The one good news still is that quant being up 13%. That was our eye yesterday. We looked at that yesterday and said as long as it stays over 82, this will have a nice little push up. It's had that nice little push up, and now we don't know. Is it over? Does it continue? Tom CA means everything. He's giving all the possibilities for each direction. I'm trying to. And I always tell everybody I'm not a financial advisor, but this is what I think is happening and what's building up. And right now, I have a bearish feeling in my mind for just today. It doesn't mean that it's all time, but it means in the micro and crypto. I mean, when you start to see risk off look like this, that's a pretty dead giveaway. Something's not right. Seeing gold up $43 back up over 4,200, seeing silver hit record highs, something ain't right. We broke out of this pattern. That means we're going right. Remember my first target on silver? 55.05. We finally hit. That was my target out of this, initial target out of this big cup and handle, that first breakout. It's been hit. That's majestic, TA. That's majestic. Some people don't think so, but I do. So XDC, James, let's get back into XDC now that we continue to look there. I continue to watch this come down for XRP to see if we can hold those areas. I think XDC is a beautiful token. They had a huge partnership. Well, maybe not partnership is the right word, but they had a huge, here, let me just share it one more time. For my fans of XDC, I know a lot of people didn't comment on it, but hey, I don't care. It's fine. I can share the information. If nobody gives a shit, that's the way it goes. So the tokenization of Brazil real-world assets on the XDC network, advancing real-world asset tokenization in Brazil, Vert Capital and UISA have successfully executed the inaugural issuance of their new collaboration on the XDC network, initiating a multi-year strategy to tokenize 1 billion in Brazilian real-world assets. This issuance involved the tokenization of an agribusiness receivable certification or certificate CRA, which is now fully traceable on a public blockchain, ensuring daily transparency, comprehensive lifecycle, auditability, and adherence to regulatory standards. So the details of this tokenized issuance was 75 million tokenized on the XDC network, a significant milestone for Brazil's real-world asset market. 400 million, which equals 75 million, distributed across 4 series. Maturities extending up to 6 years, collateralized by UISA's agro-industrial receivables. Recorded on the XDC network Layer 1 EVM compatible ISO 20022 framework, compliant with ZVM resolution 60 and 160, which is so freaking important I can't even explain it. It's so hard. It's so hard to explain that, but it's super important to see that CVM resolutions and being compliant with 60 and 160. Introducing UISA, a leader in agro-industrial operations. The USIA is a prominent business or Brazilian agro-industrial leader, specializing in the production of sugar, ethanol, energy, and bioproducts, processing over 6 million tons of sugarcane annually. UISA has allocated $3 billion for planned investments in biogas, carbon capture, and sustainability-driven innovation. And the best part about this in Latin America is the tokenization ecosystem they chose was on the XDC network. Significance of this development. This issuance signifies the convergence of structured finance, ESG transparency, and institutional-grade blockchain technology, establishing a new benchmark for real-world asset tokenization across Brazil. And it's very important, in my opinion. Very important. This just validates everything that we seem to be talking about. So, Peregrine says, took a hard dive in leverage, decided to step away from a bit. Yes, that's a good decision, especially after getting burned in leverage. Let this be a lesson to everybody. Let this be a lesson to everybody. Leverage, not safe. Not safe. Not safe. That's why whenever we get into high times of volatility, if I have any leverage, I'd close it immediately. I talked about today where we closed everything that I had in leverage. 2 things, but it was the quant and the V chain. I'm not going to get carried away. And if it goes up, it goes up. But when these high times of volatility, if it was going to go up, we should have had some kind of movement, it feels like. Quant did a great job bouncing out 19%. And now it's at 13 consolidating over the 200 days. So this very well could be at the flip of the... Listen, if we're following quant, at the flip of the clock tonight, we should get further consolidation. Quant yesterday did the same thing. So if we're a day ahead on quant and then the rest of the market's going to follow, it's going to be tough on a Saturday is the only thing. But thinly traded weekend, first is the escrow dump, which means the 29th could be a bit of a rally leading into the... Oh, man, it's going to be tough. So Wednesday, we came up to here, and then we consolidated for Thursday, and we ended up coming down as much as 8.48%. And now on Friday, we pushed back out, back tested the golden cross. 50 is now crossed to 200 to give some validation. A confirmation. So it's been a pretty impressive consolidation for quant. Like if you wanted it to do something, that was a good way to validate the movement up. And we knew $82 as long as it held, we were golden. And yesterday it came down to 82.40 something, I believe it was, on the lowest drop. Right here, 80. It came under 83 for just a second, I thought. Yeah, because I seen 82 last night right here. Yep, it came down to 82.76, completely holding the validation. I said as long as it's over 82, you don't have to worry. And we'll get that movement, and now you can decide. But I'm not one to get my blood pressure up on a Friday right before a thinly traded weekend, so I'll be happy, take the profit, and get the hell out. From that perspective, I still cannot get over gold, silver, and mining stocks. This just means that we could get a 50 basis rate point cut. If we do surge out of this 55 area, that means we're going to 60 right away. That means gold's probably going to 45. If this continues, being up 44 or 45 bucks is no small feat here. Breaking out of this consolidation is unbelievable. We talked about it yesterday in the live and said this doesn't look like a rising wedge. It almost looks more like a rising triangle as it expands. And rising triangles are super bullish continuations. And in this case, if this happened, you're talking about a movement. It gets us up to about just over 4,600 in gold. These miners, guys, I'm telling you right now, mid-26, if this continues and the markets go exactly like we're describing, some of these miners, even what you see right now could be doubled. And you're talking about after they've already doubled and tripled. In my lifetime, I can't remember how many times I've seen Pan America Silver at 45. Maybe not my lifetime, but in the past history, I don't think I ever have. No, it just hit an all-time high today. Pan America Silver made an all-time high this morning. You're talking about a company that's been out for 30 years. A 30-year miner just hit an all-time high today. I hate fucking Uphold. You guys can keep talking about Uphold. I hate it. I despise it. And good luck trading it. They still own 1,000 of Julie's XRP that they never released. She had a portfolio that was pretty nice on there. 1,000 still frozen on there since January of 23. They completely removed her account. There's no trace of it. So they are going to keep that 1,000 XRP for all eternity. So everybody who loves Uphold, you're going to get exactly what I did at some point. There's no exception. So when people talk about Uphold, they can suck my dick. And if I can't get it back, you're not getting it back. If they're not going to give it back to somebody with pull in the community, they're not giving it back to you. Anyhow, First Majestic, Pan America, all-time highs are on now. Now we're in Discovery. The move would be $72.58 in time. That's the technical target on this breakout. $72. And we bought it at 14 and 22. That's insane. You got other ones that are pushing up. They're not at all-time highs, but I believe First Majestic is going to take out it. So I think all of these will take out their all-time highs in time. How does Russia's central bank selling gold impact markets? Zero. If you believe Russia's actually selling their reserves, you gotta have to put the crack pipe down, everybody. That's an illusion. No one's getting rid of their gold and silver, I promise you. Countries have never invested more in gold and silver than now in the past 3 years secretly, including the USA. You think this is by accident? They're telling you to buy crypto when gold, silver, and mining stocks have gone epic, parabolic. Hey guys, buy crypto when it's down 70% in this calendar year. And gold, silver, and mining stocks were a literal can't miss. Real money, real earnings, real dividends. Tangible, you can hold it. It's actually there. And what Peter Schiff is doing, doesn't it kind of put a dent to the narrative of digital gold as crypto, seeing that Peter Schiff is coming out with tokenized gold? And I'm not talking about Patch G. I'm talking about tokenized gold where you can trade back and forth from person to person. Yeah, B. Southtown. The report of Russia selling came from Ukrainian intelligence. So there you go. Oh, yeah. Ukrainian intelligence, which is basically just the Kaza. And everybody who blames Russia, relook at your history. The Kaza infiltrated Ukraine, and now Russia's trying to stop the infiltration. And everybody thinks Russia's the bad person. It's kind of hilarious that Russia may be our last stand for humanity. Isn't that kind of crazy? But the news will tell you otherwise. Most of my audience believes different. It's so fucking ridiculous. Might not be tomorrow, but watch the Japan interest rate December 20th. You are dead on, James. That's a big story going unnoticed and untold. Oh, man, you are a smart man. You are a smart man. There's so much stuff going on underneath the narrative. It's sick. It's scary. Is anybody scared about all of this? Not like, oh, we're about to die, but scared in the sense of how much do we really need to make now? 100K ain't good enough. Like our investments, and it's like just by the gold and silver and mining stocks doing what they're doing, we're just trying to stay ahead of the rate of return. And it's still, it's mind-boggling that it's like this. Like I've never heard of such a silent bull market in gold, silver, especially nobody cares about mining stocks. I feel like B2 Gold's about to have a 10% move soon, even though it's way up here. I mean, it just, everything looks like, and B2 Gold's almost at all-time highs as well. If B2 Gold gets over 55, if it hits 56, it hits all-time highs. I got to send my brother a message and tell him Pan America Silver just set our new all-time high. $30 years to make that new all-time high. And yeah, you can tell I'm focusing on gold, silver, and miners right now because I want to. I have a big passion for it, and I want to see exactly what's happening. And this is unbelievable today. Might have made a new all-time high in the portfolio too. I mean, it was close coming into today, so I'm going to assume this was a big move today in the portfolio. Sometimes I'm afraid to look because I don't want to see it. Oh, yeah. Well, maybe not an all-time high. Well, it's up $5,000 in the mining stocks today. That's incredible. To put it in perspective, over the last 3 trading sessions, my mining stocks are up $12,000 in the last 3 trading sessions since Tuesday. Monday, I came on and said, Dolly Varden, buy. All of these was a good buy. But Dolly Varden was the one that I said, if you're looking to buy, it was at $3.56 or whatever it was a few days ago. That was the one. Now, it didn't make the biggest move. Well, maybe it did. Digital prisons are coming. Yeah, and that's... Has anybody ever heard of the digital prison? Basically, they'll inject you with something. And if you have a 20-year jail sentence, it might take 10 seconds. But they have these new drugs now they can... Well, it's not new. They've been around, but they're telling us it's new. And basically what happens is you are hooked up to these wires and this AI with these probably... biomarkers being printed into you, and I don't even want to talk about it because I'll get banned, but you can basically sit there and you'll feel like you're in jail for 20 years. And yeah. That's why I keep telling my audience, you have to have crypto for the speculative asset, but at the right time, but you need a store of value. You need gold, you need silver, and more importantly, you also need the miners. So the mining stocks are so you don't sell your gold and silver. You never sell gold and silver. I don't care how much it goes up. That's from generation to generation, unless you desperately need it, that goes to the next generation for your family to continue to push past this trial and bullshit. Believe it or not, we're the foundation for the rest of our bloodline. We were born in a historic moment where it's up to us. It's either it goes or it dies with us. I hate saying that, but remember, we're the transformational stage. I was born in 1983, just on the preface of the old way of living and the emergence of technology, the internet, electronics, and the way we see them today. We went from being self-sufficient to no self-skill. We hire somebody for everything. We can't even grow our own potatoes, and it's the easiest thing on the planet. Ask somebody how to grow a potato. How many people can't grow a potato? I asked 100 people if they could grow a potato, and they didn't know how to start. It's a freaking potato. You put it under the dirt. Done. What do you mean you don't know how to grow a fucking potato? Excuse my French, but it's a freaking potato. You can't grow a potato, we're in trouble. We just don't want to do the work. I asked a girl when I was in high school, because I used to do, and I was telling the story on Thanksgiving, this girl I went to school with, and I said, I am tilling outside because I lived in Dryden with my mom, but I had to drive fucking an hour to go to school because my parents were divorced, and that's just the way it went. But I tilled, did everything. We had pumpkins, watermelon, potatoes, tomatoes, green beans, a bunch of different kind of vegetables, a bunch of different kinds of things we were growing, or I was growing. And this girl goes, I go, do you know what any of this means? And I was talking to people in the class, and she's like, oh, I know exactly what you do. I just go to the store, and that's how I stay like self-sufficient. It's like, what are you talking? You go to the store, that. And I remember going like this, and I'm like, oh my God, people are this dumb. She thinks going to the store is the same as me growing food out back. Like, how are we this stupid? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. No, you will not need a wheelbarrow of golden or of cash, your unit of debt currency to buy a loaf of bread like Venezuela. I know in Venezuela it's bad, and can we get 2 more likes to get to 100 while I'm still here? That would be awesome. But in Venezuela, by the way, didn't I come on and say I'm nervous about this movement for XRP in the market? You don't have to guess very long. I tell you what I feel. I'm not a financial advisor, but you're going to damn well know what I think is going to happen. Good or bad. I'll tell you both scenarios just in case it goes the opposite way. But this is not good. I didn't come on and say all my leverage is closed for no reason. I didn't come on and say I closed the quant leverage at 17% because I wanted to. No, because I had to. Now it's down 6% since I started. I grew potatoes last summer in cardboard boxes. Worked great. Have been better, but they sprayed. Would have been better, but they sprayed. Yes. Okay, so John, you grew them, so you understand. Did you get that white residue all over your vegetables and all of your crops? I had this summer from their spraying. It was worse than any other summer I can remember. I had so much white residue some mornings when I woke up, it was embarrassing. I was so... Look at this. This is just... But yeah, it could have been better for me too, but that stuff ended up... I had like zucchini and squash and, the tomatoes back there with broccoli and cucumbers and a couple cannabis plants. What else did I have? I had summer wheat. I had... This year I grew, and it's very difficult to harvest this stuff. I have to do a better job and find a machine next year because it took too much man hours to do what I needed to do. But I also had I had a couple different things growing out there, not just winter wheat, but a couple different herbs and spices and things like that. You guys know I grow oregano and parsley and thyme and all that good stuff, basil and all that good stuff. But yeah. But now in the wintertime, I can't do any of that, guys. I can't do any of it. Yeah, cardboard box. Now, I'm assuming, John, you put dirt inside that cardboard box and let it grow from the inside of that dirt and let it use the cardboard box as its foundation. I'm assuming. Yep, Dryden. Yeah, oh, no, you don't do it like... Oh, yes. Okay, good, John. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was... Yeah, I lived in Dryden, which is about an hour north. It's just... I lived a mile and a half south of Imlay City, if you know where that's at. Oh, that's where James lives in the box. I love it. Yeah, my grandpa taught me when I was a kid. my grandpa Speaker, rest in peace. He died in 2001. He came over on the boat from Italy. He had a garden in the back of his house in Sterling Heights, which is about 45 minutes to an hour from where I'm at right now, where I live. But he had in the backyard, and they didn't have big land, but in the backyard he put these wooden things. I'll never forget. He had a barn, like a little shed barn to the left. To the right, he took this whole part of his backyard, and he had these wood, like 2x4s or 4. I don't know exactly how big. I was only 11 when he taught me this, 11 or 12. He died when I was 17, but 2 weeks before 9/11, mind you. But he put these wood things on the ground. They were a couple feet high, and he rototilled it, and he did it by hand, row by row by row. It was the most beautiful garden I have ever seen in my life, and it was in the middle of a city. This guy had my grandpa Speak, I wish he was alive. He had the ultimate green thumb. Now, I didn't pass it on to my dad because my dad didn't do any of that. I mean, he knows how, but he didn't dedicate to it. I, on the other hand, did. You know, I'd walk over after middle school and high school and go to my grandpa's house, and I'd cut his grass 3 times a week. He was one of those people. He had the perfect lawn. How he'd make me, like, vacuum over the top of the lawn to get the little pieces of grass clippings after bagging it. He literally had this thing that looked like a vacuum to go over the grass. Craziest fucking thing. But yeah, he taught me a lot. Now in the wintertime, I can't do shit here. I have to bring in my lemon and lime tree. My lemon tree, well, my lime tree, and it's a prickly son of a bitch, so. This guy's prickly as fuck. But I brought him inside. He's doing great. This is my first year with him. He was real small. He was only about this big. Where's the hell is the camera? He was only about this big when I got him. And now he's definitely doing great. This is a lime tree. But you got to know what you're doing. Because the problem in Michigan is you're not usually going to get a harvest with a lime tree. You got to bring it inside every year. What I do is I take it out of the pot. I definitely I'll grow hemp. That fulfills both. Interesting. I see you talking to some of the people. Yeah, I had a couple plants. They ended up doing about. They could have did better, but it's all that crap they put in. 6 inches of soil, then potato seed topped it off. Excellent. That's a great way to do it as well. I'm going to have to try that with the box. I've done it with bags, and I turn them into potato bags. They're about 5 to 10 gallons. Those sons of bitches did great, too. Just cut a thing down on the bottom so that you can pull them out as they're, you know, just so you can get in there so you don't have to take all the dirt out. And then you can reuse. But I also have it outside, too. I had a nice little section. I had a nice kill cacti until it learned they need neglect. Yeah, that's actually funny, Mrs. Stott. Thinking about it, how they end up growing too. Put some leaves on top of the dirt, helps with moisture. That's a great suggestion. Even like, well, I guess it's too cold now, but you can do it late in the season in Michigan until you start getting that frost. Then it becomes a problem. But right now is that back test, guys, and I gotta go because I'm here with my son by myself. I want to go make sure he's doing okay. But we're looking at these back tests. Remember, if you're watching this right now, the only thing you really need to remember with XRP is 2 things. 1, this section at 214, well, now 211, which we ended up pulling down to as far as 216. Did we hit that while we were live? No, that would have been earlier. I was going to say, I don't remember it coming down there while we were live. 218.9. But it looks like we got rejected over the top right now. That's a rejection so far. So I'd be looking for 211. Look at 211 if that breaks 206. If that breaks, now we're down to that $1.98. If that doesn't hold, $1.89. And if that breaks, back to $1.77 to $1.82 range. Be blessed, everybody. And to avoid this, we need to get over 222 and hold, and that would open the door.